I don't know how many interviews I have gave. I think about 100 plus interviews I gave, but one of the major thing was like no one was giving me visa to come here. So always think how you work as a team member, how you will pursue. So they want
Okay.
to be work as a team member.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we have a special guest coming from a data background, and she's an amazing person who actually started her journey from data, went into data engineering, and actually she's currently working in London. Uh, she got a job directly from India to London, so we would love to welcome her. Hey, hi Disha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. First of all, thanks a lot for giving your valuable time and coming on the channel and for sharing your valuable advice for everyone today. Before we deep dive about your background, learn how you were able to get a job in London, and obviously from data background, we would love to have introduction. If you can share a little bit more about yourself, that would be great.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Nikita, for having me here. I myself graduated back in 2016 with computer science engineering degree, and then I got a job in KU where I was working as data analyst and honing all the data analytical skill. I got promoted to senior data analyst, and then I thought, let's try something new. Let's try something different. As a data analyst, I was always curious like how the data is coming to me, why everything is different for every database. So that's why the curiosity began. And back in 2020, I was quite ill that time, but I thought like let's try something new. And then I got a call. Means I gave a call to my data head of data engineering in
Mm-hmm.
PayU. I called him
Okay.
and I said, okay, I want to move to data. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to start, but can you help me out? He guided
Yeah.
me to do some courses around it, and I did some courses. Then I gave my internal job posting interview, three level, I think, 3 rounds, and
Okay.
then I got
Okay.
selected there. And there,
Mm-hmm.
my data engineering, what to say,
Journey
journey
started.
journey
Yeah,
began.
journey started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then what
Yeah.
happened is like I has always dreamed to work in outside India, and
Mm-hmm.
USA was not a choice of my country because of different
Okay.
reasons. So
Yep.
I always thought of living in Europe, and I
Okay.
chose UK. Miss, there was list of countries I was looking for a job in Netherlands, Germany, and UK. But UK was my always a priority because of the language we are using here. Like it's English, so it's easy.
Yep.
So back in 2020, once I moved to data engineering, I started my job search journey in UK
Yep.
majorly. Interacted with many people. I did networking all over the LinkedIn for all 2021.
Yep.
Entirely, I did networking. I tried to get connected with everyone I could. I don't know how many interviews I have gave. I think about 100 plus interviews I gave, but one of the major thing was like no one was giving me visa to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I did a networking call, and the person who was interviewing me was director of my company right now where I'm working. I said that I'm looking for a job in UK and I don't know where to
Yep.
start, and like we
Got it.
got into talking, and then he
Yep.
said that I am owner of a company who is willing to sponsor if you go through
Mm-hmm.
the interview process, and let's see where it takes. So I took a chance. I got the job there, and then rest is history.
No, this is such a inspiring and motivational story. Thanks a lot, Disha, for sharing it. I mean, I was kind of like awestruck when you said hundreds of interview to kind of go through it and then landing this offer. I mean, I'm pretty sure whoever is going to listen to this podcast today, they are going to learn a lot. And I say it very openly every day through my content that rejection is normal. People should learn from it, and people should not if we are getting rejection, we should not stop. So when you said it, I think people should listen to this and just jump on it and continue their journey. So thanks again for mentioning that. I
Thank
think
you.
double tapping onto the part of where you said that you were applying, you were going through the interview process and everything. So can you share a little bit more about what was the process in terms of when you were applying,
Yeah.
overseas, or when you were applying for companies in UK?
So majorly I was using LinkedIn for my networking. I was reaching out, sending cold emails to everyone. I do all those networking event like calls, networking events which were happening around UK. Tried to connect with the
Okay.
peoples around online because that time COVID was going on, so everything
Yeah.
was online. So that was not issue for me to
Okay.
get connected with people. And
Got it.
as
Okay.
in a process, I don't know, I have sent over 2000 emails. Oh,
Oh,
2000
2000. Okay.
2000 emails and chat to everyone, and on
Yeah.
that I think only 100 turned out to be on the call with me, at least to share the nuggets at what they are working on. So when you are trying to reach someone, you don't speak away like you need something at the
Yeah.
start.
Yes.
You have to show
Yeah.
that you are want to learn their journey, then telling just what
Yep.
your need is. So that's
Yeah.
how I started growing my LinkedIn network
Yep.
also. Like back in 2021 I had 4000 followers. Now I got many because of the journey I think I
Jen.
en route to.
That's great. No, I think everyone should learn from you because I know that LinkedIn has been one of the most underrated platform where people think that it's not going to help them, but like please everyone listening to this podcast, listen to Disha and see that it's really really important that you're active on platform and you know the right way to do networking because a lot of opportunities out there. I have one follow-up questions on that is I know that you were focused on networking, you were connecting with people and 2000, like I mean that was like a wow moment for me. But I'm pretty sure you must be applying through your resume, right? Like you were
Yeah,
using your resume too. So
yeah,
can you share a little bit more around some tips and tricks around
yeah.
what and how you focused your resume should look like when you were applying for these opportunities?
Yeah, so there are many pointers around resume. So one
Okay.
major pointer is like you should give your resume where you are doing the responsibility. Don't just say that I did this thing. You should always think of how it is impacting your business, what the business ask was, how you achieved it, and always try to quantify it. So there should be a number or there should be something you should put in your job responsibility page. Try to use active words where you said like you did something. I don't know, many put pictures on the pictures on those things. Resume, that is big no. And try to not
Yeah.
put your years, like you can put your years of work but don't put your years of graduation, because sometimes you don't get leverage about on that one. Sometimes it happens that you are up for a big job, but because your graduation year is showing something, you are not up for that job. So these are the three
Yeah.
pointers I think you should do it. And mostly I do means I have reviewed my resume over, I don't know, every time I look into a resume I saw something is missing, I have to go back. So I was using
And
a
do. Yeah.
tool, online web application, which was resumeworded.com, where whatever I was doing my on resume, I was just putting it and seeing that what score it was going to.
Yeah.
So always try to get a score of your resume, that whether it is ATIS friendly or not, because one of the
Yeah.
major reason you don't get a job because it doesn't pass to that ATIS level.
The 80. Yep. Yep. No, thanks a lot, Disha, again for sharing. Those are like amazing pointers, and specifically the quantify part, like adding the numbers, because I have been being a recruiter myself, I've seen people just adding the big statements, but they never share the impact. I also want to know from your experience in terms of when you were applying overseas or when you were applying for a job outside India. Is there anything else? I think you mentioned about like making sure your resume is updated. You mentioned about networking, leveraging LinkedIn. But on the same hand, the interview process, because you said that you have gone through so many of interviews.
Yeah,
So can you share a little bit tips around how to prepare yourself for the interviews?
yeah, I can tell you right now. I'm thinking of a transition, so I'm
Okay.
going through the same process again. So
Mhm.
it's very new,
Mhm.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interview process is pretty same for MNCs. It is different
Mhm.
for startup and product-based companies.
Okay.
So in majorly these in UK or Germany or Netherlands, they prefer both, like technical as well as behavioral rounds, like behavioral skills. What you should know as a technical person should be there, but how you work as a team member is also important. So it's just not a technical thing which you go with. You should have a balance of how you are answering. So I remember once, long time back, I didn't answer the proper answer and I didn't got selected because I didn't give the answer which I think was an appropriate one. So always think how you work as a team member, how you will pursue. So they want to be work as a team member, but in technical rounds, it's very difficult for everyone. Like for every company, it's very different. In if you are going with Google FANG companies, it's like 4 or 5 rounds of technical round, depending on what role you are. So they check your basic core skill. Majorly they use HackerRank or something to check, or code related to check your skills, like basic skills. Then because I am a data engineer, they grill you around your data architecture and engineering questions. They grill you mostly on that one. And then behavioral round was there all. So there are majorly every company have 5 to 7 rounds of interview depending on which stage you are in. So major 3-4 rounds are with technical one, 2 are behavioral, and 1 with, if they are just starting up or something, they start with talking with executives like CEO and CTOs, so that they see that whether you are standing out.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for sharing that. I know I've seen in your profile that you went from, like, you started your career as a data analyst, then actually you shifted from data analyst to data engineering, and currently you're working as a data engineer. So can you share, because I think this is one of the common issues I have myself seen candidates like actually doing it again and again. They apply for all the different data roles, which is data scientist, data analyst, data engineering, and like, I mean, that's what I get as a recruiter, why people are applying, because these roles are different, right? Like, yeah, so I have worked myself as a senior data analyst, and I know like the day-to-day responsibility of data engineering and data scientist, but people don't understand. So I would love you to kind of share the difference between all three of them, and then what was your journey from data analyst to be a data engineer?
So the thing is that when people think of moving to data, they think that everything is same, but it's very different. So data analyst is one of the easiest job to do in data field. It's not that easy, but at least you have something to work around. Same, data scientists do other stuff, and then data engineers will whole other world to work around. So data analysts mainly work on reporting, visualization, and taking out the data and trying to make meaningful insight around that. That was my job. Like, I used to get all data around from different parts of company and our merchants, and I have to take the reporting and try to get insights from how a merchant is doing, how transaction is going through it, like that. But data scientist is getting the insights and then digging deeper around it and trying to build models around it to have a good idea of how things are, and how you leverage that data which you are getting from data engineering, means from different data warehouses. How you are working around it is one of the major things you do. So applying regression and other classification models to make your model working is major thing. But data engineering is very different, because the data which data analysts and data science use is provided by data engineers, and one of them undermined job which we do, like, because we are providers but we don't get such a limelight when you are working with it, because data which we provide is utilized by data scientists and data analysts, so sometimes we just get forgotten. So data engineering is very different, and my transition was very difficult. It was not easy one, because as a data analyst, I just knew simple Python, querying SQL, doing visualization using Tableau and Power BI. That was it. It was damn easy. But when I moved to data engineering, I thought of moving into data engineering. There was whole lot of new things I have to learn. So in Python, when you are doing as a data analyst, you just do exploratory data analysis majorly using Python and NumPy. You don't have to write lengthy codes to make the ETL pipeline work. But in data engineering, you have to write codes, work with architect the pipelines, like what architecture of a pipeline should be, what technologies you have to use, how you will orchestrate. Like these we have to work around. It's a very different one. So when I moved to data engineering, I had to learn what ETL and ELT is, how they are different. I have to learn AWS majorly because that was PayU working around. Then I have to learn about orchestration. I majorly use Apache Airflow. When we interacted with large amount of data, then I have to use Apache Spark, that is majorly PySpark, because it was Python based. Like that. So you have to learn many things, and there is no definite answer for running a pipeline. For each and every business scenarios, there is a different solution for it, and you have to find a different way to implement that one.
Awesome. No, thanks a lot for sharing that. I think you mentioned about these roles and obviously your own journey from data analyst to data engineering. Like, do you want to share some resources or some suggestions in terms of people trying to break into data or people trying to get start their journey as a data analyst or data engineering? Do you have any suggestions?
If you are just starting off in data field, you should think of working around Python. If you are just starting off, data analyst is a good option you should try with. And then you move to data science or data engineering, whatever feels okay with you. And for that, you have to have Python and their Python libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, and other stuff, and Pandas majorly. Learning about exploratory data analysis, how you do it, and then visualizing it. You can do with Python packages as well. And if you know Tableau, Looker, or Power BI, that will be a cherry on top. So it will get you started with, and then you can try to work around where you want to move in, whether you want to have data engineering as your forte or data science. So you can move from there to there. And some resources I like is like when you're starting and you think free resources are there. It's 𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗀𝗃 Python YouTube channel is very good. You can try that. If you're willing to spend money, DataCamp is also good for beginners because they give you a large amount of things because it focuses on data only and it's affordable one. And if you want to splurge a good amount of money, then Udacity's courses are very good. I tried myself because I didn't try spending on it, but my company paid for that one. But it will give you a good idea because they have their projects and capstone projects and everything to learn and grow in those things. So
no, I am going to put all those links in the description. So if anyone would like to kind of go through it, please do check out. Thanks, Disha, again for sharing those amazing resources. I'm pretty sure it's going to help so many people listening to the podcast. I also wanted to understand a little bit more about the salary part because I know when you moved from India to UK, there's a lot of salary changes, right? Like, I mean, your salary, like now you're getting much higher salary as what you used to get in India. So can you share, I'm not asking about your exact current salary or your past salaries, but just a range, like how much shift have you seen in your salary when someone gets a data engineering role in India versus a data engineering role in UK?
it depends, like because I have been offered visa, so I don't have leverage to have a ask on greater salary. But in India, you can get as a data engineer from 20 to 35 lakhs
per annum.
Per annum, according to your seniority. Like that is a base, I think. And
got it. Okay.
For product-based
Yeah.
company, I don't know about consulting companies. For product-based, that is the base. And
Mm-hmm.
for UK and Germany, it depends on, right now market is very bad, so it will somehow come around 50 to 110,
Mm-hmm.
but it will, again, with seniority you have other stuff to work on, because there will be a lot of pressure on you to work around that.
Yep. Yep. No, I think thanks for sharing that. And I think in between you mentioned about market too bad.
Yeah.
So, from your perspective, when you just mentioned that you also started looking for a new opportunity as well, can you share a little bit more about the trends you are seeing in the market? And
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned that it's difficult. So then, as a job seeker, what should we focus on when you're looking for a job?
I think for a job seeker, see how, when, which company you're applying. For
Mhm.
me, it's very different because I'm in UK. I'm looking for a job in UK, and then with
Yep.
UK, you have to have a visa to stay in this country.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
when it comes to India, I think if I have to
Mhm.
go back, and I literally want to go back and work around India, because the
Yep.
one of the thing I've seen that India's market is better than other part of the
Mhm. Yeah.
world.
World. Yep.
So that's why I think that right now India is in very good place to work and have a stability
Mhm.
over instability here in the market, especially European and American market.
Yep.
For networking, just don't try to reach anyone and ask for
Mhm.
help
Yep.
right away.
Yep.
Have a
Mhm.
meaningful conversation and then try to ask
Mhm.
for help. And for few countries like Netherlands and UK, there are
Mhm.
visa sponsored list which you can work
Yep.
around, and you can
Mhm.
see which company is working. But right now they are not providing visa. They are just not doing that much, right? They just choose very
Yep.
established people right now to give visa, and they are not,
Mhm.
especially banks. I'm coming from
Got
financial
it.
services
Yep.
background, so it's very difficult right now. And
Got it.
what you can do differently is, you should try to be authentic. You just don't force anything out of any recruiter or anyone. Try to be
Mhm.
as easy it could be.
Got it. No, thanks for sharing that. I can add one quick thing. So, we are also having like a LinkedIn Chrome extension, which is free of cost for everyone. So if anyone wanted to update their LinkedIn profile, please do check out careerflow.ai, which is my startup. So if anyone want to update and have a score on the profile and get some insights, go and check it out and update it. But thanks, Disha, for sharing these amazing pointers. I think someone looking for an opportunity definitely should focus on things she mentioned, and like definitely work on their profile, networking, and be authentic. I think that is something which I loved when you said it. Be authentic, because that is really really important. Though I know the market is quite bad and it's not as easy as it used to be last year.
Mm.
So thanks a lot, Disha, for coming on the podcast and for sharing all the valuable advice. This is going to be like really, really helpful. One last thing which I would like to ask you, or maybe if you want to give like some last words before we end the podcast, that would be great.
Yeah, the one thing I forgot, that I have used careerflow.ai and I got a score and
Okay.
it was 100%. So
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
So for my LinkedIn, I used
Yeah.
it and it was 100%. And I have the Chrome
Awesome.
extension still in my laptop, where I somehow,
Okay.
whenever I change, I see it works.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. No,
Th-
thanks a lot for giving that like mention that, and thanks a lot for using the tool, because
yeah,
that's why it's out there and we are trying to help as many folks as we can.
sure. One thing everyone should know, that being an immigrant or moving to another country or moving to another profile is not easy. It comes with the challenges, and you should be up for it.
Definitely. No, I think I resonate because being an immigrant myself, I mean, it's not easy comparatively being a citizen. So you always look for opportunities where you need sponsorship, and there's always a chance that the company might come back and say, hey, we can't sponsor, or this is a limit. And the number of companies also reduced a lot, like when you actually start applying. So thanks a lot, Disha. And again, amazing conversation and amazing insights. Thanks a lot again for coming on the channel.
Thank you.